Hi, how you going? Marion Weatherburn here. Just want to have a chat to you about guides. A lot of people ask me about how they can hear or feel or see their guides and what it's like for me. So I'll just have a little chat about that, and then I'll give you an exercise to do that I feel will help you get to know your guides. Now, there's a few things I'd like to say about that. We all have guides. Angels are celestial beings, and guides are people just like us, except they've reached all their last incarnations. And there's a lot of people starting that's happening to now, because the world is so far out of balance, we actually need them to be guides to help us here on Earth as mortals. So for me, I've known who's in my team, and I call them my team. I've got my dad's dad, my mum's dad, my mum's brother, Mark, who is my guide, and also Stephen, who is my healer. I've known about them for years, so it's actually hard for me to remember how I first got to know they were around. I've always felt as if there was somebody with me, somebody special, but I never knew who it was. I sensed who I thought who it was, but it was over time that I found out who it was, I guess. Now, your guides might come to you in a different way than mine do, and the world is waking up. There are so many people waking up on a spiritual level. It's like we've been laying dormant. But now we're waking up. All our six senses are intact, to a degree, and we have the capacity now to understand and then realise from a soul's level what our job is to do. Now, we've got five senses already to start with, our eyes. We didn't have to work out how to use our eyes, our ears. We didn't have to work out how to use them. Smell, taste, touch. They're all senses as well, but they're automatic. But the funny thing is, our sixth sense is also automatic, but it just seems to be one that everybody struggles with, and there really is no reason to struggle with it because it's one of the most. The intuition is your precursor to having a sixth sense. Having a sixth sense and truly working with it, it means that you've learnt how to download messages. I use download because that seems to be the term at the moment. Or how to interpret messages, how to feel them, and it's it's knowing what is a message and what is, a thought. I believe that 85% of our thoughts, or what we think, are thoughts. But I also believe that the other 15% of what we think, or because it occupies our head as a thought, is actually a channeled message or a message from the universe. But people just don't realise it. Not until they start on their spiritual path, and then they learn the difference, or maybe that's I can help teach you the difference. So it's learning what belongs to you and what belongs to them, and there's a difference. Remember about the last thing, excuse me, think about the last time that you had an intuitive thought. Oh, I wish I knew that. I knew that. I should have done that. I knew that. That's my, I don't use big words here, but that comes with a feeling, and you know that feeling. That 15% that you're trying to access, maybe 10% that you're trying to access that is a message for you, comes with a feeling. And it's that feeling that only you can learn for yourself. So when you have an intuitive thought, you go, maybe you're thinking about a person. Maybe you're going, oh, Jeremy's going to ring up. Why am I thinking about Jeremy? Oh, Jeremy, I don't know why I'm thinking about Jeremy. I haven't heard from Jeremy for years, right? So it's kind of like that's an intuitive thought, right? That's a psychic thought. That's your 15% access, right? I'm not talking about the guides bit yet. This is more like the psychic, how to interpret what's a psychic thought. But then you suddenly go, oh, I need to put a load of washing on. I need to pay the electricity bill. Totally different. That's a thought, right? That's what you need to learn. That comes with practice. Don't forget, I've been doing it, excuse me, for years and years and years and years. I don't even analyse it anymore. It's actually so hard for me to now put into words to try and break down into a, you know, something that will help you. But I feel that I can help you. But now you've got to help yourself. It's like going to the gym. You know, if the instructor says do 40 push-ups, you have to do them. They won't do it for you. So I'm going to give you an activity that you can do every day. It's quite simple. I don't want you to do the activity now, but I just want you to feel through it and sit through it. And one thing you're going to need is a pen and paper or a book. Go to Coles or Woolies and just get a cheap exercise book from the stationery aisle and use it as a diary of everything that you will, your 15% or your 10% that you download. Okay, so when you commit to yourself and to your own guides that you want to get to know them, it's like building a friendship or relationship with a tangible person. The only difference between us and them is we've still got the body. We're all energy. This body is like an Uber for our energy. We hop in for this lifetime and off we go. Make sense? So it's in their best interest to help us because it helps their soul develop. It's in our best interest to listen because it helps our soul develop. All right, we have all sorts of guides. We have guides that are family guides that spend the time with us in the spiritual classroom and they guide us here on earth. And then you have guides that are for specific reasons. If you're going through something particularly difficult personally, go, please, you ask your guides, please can you bring me a guide that specialises? It's a bit like going to the specialist at the doctor. Okay, you can go to the doctor, he'll give you a referral to go to the heart specialist. Okay, so ask for a specialist for something really tough, that if you're going through something really tough. But then just like in your physical world, when you go to the specialist, you make the appointment, you've got to go. You've got to turn up, but you've got to turn up when this happens as well. All right, so guides can't just come into your life or your head or your energy without your permission. They won't do it. They know that. Excuse me. So, yeah, and it's a little bit like if you rent out your house to a counsellor and you're at the kitchen sink washing dishes together, you're going to ask for help. Could you help me with this? What do you reckon about this? All right, so these guys, like if a stranger walks past your house, they can't just come in. They can knock on the door, or you could invite them in and say, would you like to come in? It's the same with them. All right, but once you start, just because you can't see them doesn't mean you should give up on trying. All right, imagine how hard it is. It's as hard for them to come through to us as it is for you to come through to them while you're alive without passing over to come to them. Okay, and for some of those that pass over, especially people who passed away, say before the year 1960, they don't even want to. They don't even want to come through. They don't want to try. And if they do come through, chances are they'll come through to their grandchildren or their great-grandchildren, to the younger ones. They may not come through to you just because you want them to. All right, that's something else. You need to have no expectations around this stuff at all. No expectation. And even expect no answers. Even expect to get told off. Even expect that everything you get is for your highest good, whether you like it or not. And yes, you don't have to listen to them. They're not going to give you shortcuts. There are plenty of times that I've had situations where I've asked and asked for help. They've given me the help. I've still done what I've wanted to do. And it's taken me a lot longer to get through the issue, but maybe I've also learnt a bit more from it as well, So, okay, so anyway, basically what I want you to do is just listen to what I'm about to say and then remember it for yourself. So you'll have your pen and your paper and basically what I'm going to do, it's not about meditation because I don't meditate. But what I want you to do is stop your mind. I want you to still your mind. I want you to stop time and make time for you and them. Make time for your new best friend. once you start feeling them and feeling the love that they bring, you'll get addicted anyway. So you will want to do it more and more and more. It's touching the spirit world, for 5 or 10 minutes a day. And then you might want to do it more and more, because it really is a beautiful feeling, and it really does. Once you start getting in touch with them, and you start listening to what they're saying and they're advising you, then you will want to do it more, because it's making you a better person. You're carrying this universal love inside of you. It's beautiful. So basically what I want you to do is just sit. So if you're driving to work in the morning, or maybe you're sitting on the toilet or something like that, hey, maybe not then, but somewhere quiet, just go, hey, I'd really like to chat to you about 7:30 tonight, if that's okay, and make sure that at 7:30 you're ready, and then you have your pen and your paper, and you go somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed. You turn off your phone, you turn off the telly, and it might only take 10 or 15 minutes. It might take an hour and a half, and it will feel like 10 or 15 minutes. All right, so I want you to just sit quietly, okay, and open your soul and open your heart to love. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, leave your mind out in the other room. It's not allowed to come into this. No. So just sit quietly. Close your eyes. Turn off your outer ears. Close your outer eyes. Open up your inner eyes, and open up your inner ears, and open up your heart. And say, I'd really like to meet you. I'd really like to get to know you. I'd really like to start my spiritual journey. I'd like to continue my spiritual journey with you. If you feel that, excuse me, you'd like to put a white light around you for protection, you can do that. It's more for you to do that. It doesn't actually stop anything. Nothing bad's going to happen. It's like, how many home invasions have you had in your lifetime? None. Well, that's the same. All right. But once you start having a relationship with your guides, one of them will become your gatekeeper to protect you anyway. But if you physically feel like you need to put a barrier around you and walk into an egg of white light, pretend that you're a tree, and put your feet firmly into Mother Earth to be secure, to be safe, and nothing can penetrate you, do it. All right. So sit quietly and then just breathe. You don't have to do anything special. You're not the one making first contact, remember? Right? They now have to. You've given them notice that that you'd like them to come through. So let's see how you go. They may not come through the first time. They may get scared, nervous. They may get stage fright. All right. They may not be ready tonight. Just because you were ready tonight doesn't mean they were ready tonight. So if they don't come through, just make it tomorrow night or tomorrow lunchtime. We don't always get what we want on demand. Even I don't. But that's a relationship. Don't forget, you're building a relationship. You might not know them, but they know you, right? They know you not just from this lifetime, but from other lifetimes. You've met many times around the big spiritual kitchen table up there, or in the spiritual classroom. They know you, but not from this lifetime. So you're making a reconnection. This is really special stuff. This is stuff to be respected. Okay. Alrighty. So basically, I want you to just sit, and in your mind, I want you to go to a place that it becomes your place to meet your best friend. Your place to meet your best friend. It might be on a park bench where they can sit next to you. It might be under a tree sitting on some grass. It might be in your lounge room. It might be at the beach. It might be on a boat. You make it your place, and that's where you'd like to meet them all the time. So when you're ready, just ask them, keep your mind closed, and like I said, open your inner ears and your inner eyes, and just say, okay, I'm ready. When you're ready, I'd love you to come and sit with me, just for a while. Let's get to know each other. I know you've been through this life already. I want to learn from you. Now I'm getting tears in my eyes. This stuff is so real. Mine are here, I can feel them. Just sit quietly and just invite them to come and sit with you. It's like inviting your best friend over. Sorry, struggling with tears. It's just the love, you know. It's such an overwhelming, powerful love. And I want you all to touch it for yourselves. You'll feel a shift when they come. You will. You will feel a difference, I promise you. They'll either come and sit next to you or out of your mind, in your mind's eye, you'll see them coming towards you. I don't want you to look them up and down and check them out. I want you to just feel them. And all of this communication happens at a soul level. Okay? This is, you know, special stuff. So communicate at a soul level. And they'll come and sit next to you. I think for the first time it would be great to ask them for their name and see what you get. Just see what you get. You can ask them if they're related to you and see what you get. You can ask them if they've got a message for you and see what you get. And then leave it at that for today. Feel them, feel their energy, that they've come to you from a place that is bigger than we can imagine as people living on earth. You know, I get shown glimpses of what it's like. Part of me can't wait. But it's you know, and they have no concept of time either, or duration. And then suddenly, like now, I can feel they've moved. Mine have moved away again, so they've gone. Oh, make sure you say thank you for them to coming through, and ask them to come back again. But they know now that they know that you want them to come back. It's making a commitment to them. When you come back and open your eyes, just make sure you've allowed enough time to just sit. I don't want you rushing off anywhere. You've changed your energy level, you've changed your vibration, you've kind of visited them and they visited you, and you've kind of met in this in-between time. You know, it's weird, it's good. Okay, so then I want you to write down everything you get. Did you get a name? What did they look like? Did they feel familiar? Who do you think they were? Did they have a name for you? Did they have a message for you? Right? If they gave you a name, let's say they gave you the name Jeremy. Doesn't have to be little white, fluffy white feather or little Hiawatha, or, you know, they are just people that have used all their lifetimes. They will still have normal names. So if you get a name straight away, write it down. Over the next few days, or the next, oh yes, so did I tell you about the book? Make sure you've got a book, right? So I have books. There's books everywhere in my house, everywhere. Behind me, look, here's another one. Right, I'm writing constantly, so even, I'm just constantly writing. When I get messages, I write on everything. I'm surprised I haven't got any on my hand today. Keep a book with you all the time, in your car, in your handbag, on the desk, in your drawer. Make sure you've just got books everywhere, and just write them down. Write them on your hand if you have to. Send yourself a text if you have to. If you get a message that feels like it's that 15%, because it's got that same feeling of what you had in that meeting, pay attention. Excuse me. Especially if you're trying to work through an issue. If there's something that you really are particularly working on. And then over the next few days, look for signs. Some guides can only come through in dreams. Some guides can only come through for you to see them at night when you're in your bedroom and they're standing there and you see them, and they communicate telepathically. If you have them come to visit you during the night or the day, or you feel that there's someone around, if you can feel them, communicate with them telepathically. That's how it works. All right, so it's about now you need to get to learn their 15% and your 85%. You already know what your 85% feels like. So if you can also maybe draw a frame on a piece of paper, and then every time you get a little message, draw it as a little puzzle in your frame on that picture. And write the message in there, one word even, just what the message is. When you get a sign, or you hear or you have a persistent thought, or you hear a message, you may hear them. You'll hear, when you start hearing, you will hear. It'll be your mind thinking, because you're still processing it with your mind, but the thought will almost sound male or female, but it won't sound like it's your voice. It's different, and it will be quiet. So over time, you'll have to learn to quieten yourself and learn how to hear them. Excuse me. I'd like you to practice this every day and commit to the relationship, and just take it from there. And I guess the rest will just follow. It will. It is normal for your guides to contact you. Have a great time together getting to know each other. It really is special. Thank you.